Welcome back to the MEHS podcast with Jason Brennan.
And Louis Perez. And today we have back Mr. Cook, who we weren't able to finish our interview with last time, unfortunately. So, Mr. Cook, how you doing today?
Doing pretty well, guys. A little tired. I think we all are. It was a kind of a long week last week, and we're all still kind of recovering. But I'm doing well. I'm happy to be here. Yep.
All right, Mr. Brennan, start us off.
Um, So, Mr. Cook, this is your first year teaching here at Mount Empire and first year teaching. Um, I know we went over this before we got cut off last time, but how have you prepared mentally for teaching students?
I think when I decided I wanted to become a teacher, that's kind of when it started mentally, at least. And it's as simple as I knew I was going to be new to it, and just finding books, audio books, just getting into kind of the mindset. There was a book, I believe the title was "No One Said It Would Be Easy." I don't know, I don't remember that person's name. I'm not promoting that book or anything, but it was excellent. It was talking. Kind of making the world of a teacher like a reality. Like, hey, it's hard. It's like a lot of the days are rough. My personal thing that I tell myself every day is I know I'm in the right place. I belong here, even when it sucks. Yeah, even when it's great, I'm in the right place. And the book is basically kind of going into that too. Like, it's gonna suck some days. Being a student sucks some days, but you roll with it. We're doing the right thing. So I think just in terms of preparing myself, a lot of the mental stuff, my teaching, like my actual program to get my credential and everything, kind of goes into that as well. Um, Before that, I am a big advocate of like breath work, box breathing. I don't know if they go over that, but it's as simple as inhaling for, let's say, 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds, letting out for 4 seconds, and repeating that. It's a box. So that's a big thing when I get stressed and I want to get grumpy. I just breathe. So that's probably physically one of the main things I do to kind of stay calm and work with you guys.
Can you tell us a little bit about what's like some of the more dreadful things that the teachers might dread? Because, as students, we dread getting up early and, coming to school and having to do work. Let's talk a little bit about what some of the teachers, might not like, because we don't hear a lot about what the teachers don't like.
I mean, on a kind of smaller like scale, the obvious thing, it can be sometimes it's actually I it's hurtful, or I feel hurt when I'm putting my heart out. I did this hardcore, or I prepped for this lesson, and I'm excited about it. I'm giving it my all, and I know I'm doing well. And folks are on their phones or kind of looking at the wall. And they're the students I respect. I know are smart. I know that are probably going to pass the test with an A, even though they're not paying attention at the moment. That can, you can let that. Sometimes you'll let that hit personally. Obviously, we can't. Um, I as a teacher can't take that personally. And I know that students can. I've seen this multiple times where student can kind of be looking down and have their head down, and then you go, oh, Mr. Johnson, answer this question, and sure enough, they were paying attention somehow. So that's hurtful. Kind of something I wasn't prepared for. I'll say it that way. Is as a student, you don't really get to know each other's lives. Sometimes you do, like intimately, like this is going on at home or not going at home. Something that gets me emotionally is learning that about my students who have compared to how I grew up out here, and I had my own trials, tribulations, things like that, but just stuff folks deal with a day to day basis. And, um, I've just been getting that deep understanding of like, I get it why some students are tired and a little grumpy and maybe a little snappy when you kind of consider what may be going on at home. That's been a big emotional thing that I've kind of been struggling with as a teacher. So I just want everyone here to be kinder, to recognize we're all going through stuff. Something I told my class at the last minute today was the more effort you put into making the mountain better, making the school better, however you want to phrase it, making the world better, the more it's going to do for you. The better your life is going to be. So the more effort you put into making things around you better, the better things are going to work for you, if that makes sense. So that's something I really want this school to hold on to, from just on a personal level. Not there's no principal, no teacher telling me to say this. It's something I actually care about and I want to see more of. Hopefully that answers your question.
Mr. Brennan?
As a teacher, especially your first year, um, this is your classroom. You buy things for the classroom. You spend money. You buy markers. You buy things for your classroom to make it better. How do students make you feel when they disrespect your classroom, such as like, doing things they're not supposed to do, especially for an ag mechanics classroom where there's tools and they shouldn't be messing around with certain things and like destroying certain things. How does that make you feel when they do those things?
I would say the first way I'm going to answer that is preventing that is to start of the year hit it hard, what safety is, what safety isn't, what respect for tools is, why it's important. Um, but yeah, when it comes down to, especially since I've done that work at the beginning, if someone's disrespecting, especially things I've paid for personally, that's not my property. It's one thing if it's a school property, it still sucks. But yeah, it doesn't feel good. It's hurtful. I like to think that when students make those choices to mess with my marker, break something I bought, I like to think it's not personal. They're just wilding out, just kind of going going nuts for whatever reason. Yeah, it's you really have to as a person kind of become sort of this neutral, um, kind of a neutral being. Like emotions are there; they're always going to be there. To kind of I think take a bigger picture look where not everything is personal sometimes. And from my own experience growing up here, sometimes your kids are just bored and that rubber band is really tempting, or um, you know running that handsaw against a metal table is tempting for whatever reason. um, but overall, yeah, it is disrespectful. And sometimes I think we as teachers need to calmly but effectively connect that fact to the students, that not just yell at them and say, hey, this is disrespectful. It's to break it down like, hey, I put in my money into this. I put my effort into showing you how to use it properly, and you made those decisions to disrespect a tool, disrespect me, to slow it down, to really kind of connect those frames of thought. I had the same conversation with my kid last night. He was home with his mom all day, and she's just texting me all day. He's just disrespecting her, not doing his because he had to do schoolwork. Even he just wasn't doing it. And I get home and he does it in like 30 minutes. Um, and so I sat there with him for like another 30, 40 minutes. I broke it down like, dude, what's going on? Like, how do we get you to the point where you have respect for your mom? And just, we sat down and mapped it out. I could have just as easily, kicked his door in and yelled at him, made him cry, and then scared him. I chose to slow it down, break it down. And that's my philosophy. Might be wrong, might be right, but that's just how I do things. I try to do things.
Okay, so you came here to Mountain Empire, correct? Would you say that during the time you were in school and the time now, would you say that within the classroom and within the school in general, has the school spirit gone down? Would you say that maybe when you were in school, that the teachers might have been more, I don't know, engaging to the kids, and the kids, showed more engagement back? And would you say that now it's not so much like that because you have kids laying their heads down and not wanting to show so much respect to the teacher?
I think those are almost two questions, in my opinion. I would ask you, how do you define school spirit? That would be a question back to you. As for engagement, I I don't think I don't think too much has actually changed in a weird way. When it wasn't phones and TikTok and all that, it was something else. I was in high school. We had phones. They were just kind of more rudimentary, basic phones. Think the iPhone was like pretty new, if I remember correctly. Um, but we found other. I mean, we as students back then found other ways to get distracted and kind of put our heads down, draw, carve into the table. So, I I don't think that's changed too much. As for the school spirit, yeah, I would ask you, what do you guys think school spirit means? I almost don't even have a good answer for it sometimes.
That's a good question. Well, if I was to define school spirit, I suppose I would say like the overall morale of the school and how they feel about the school and how much like enthusiasm they show at football games and at rallies. That's how I would define it, I suppose, Mr. Brennan.
Yeah, that's basically how I define school spirit, and like wanting to make the school better and always wanting to improve our school and the people cheering at our football games and our wrestling meets and our basketball games. That's how school spirit is for me. Um, changing the subject. What got you into FFA?
Well, what got me into ag was just simply that's what was available job wise. I mean, that's pretty cut and dry. I did my student teaching in Pine Valley Middle School, which now we're doing junior high, but it was middle school just last year. And I made a good name for myself. Folks in the district office and kind of folks I worked with, Dr. Brandon, the principal, put in a good word for me, wanted to keep me on the mountain at my home. Because at that point, I was just getting my credential. I could have gone off to some other school, but um, I've thanked them. But a lot of people here put a lot of work and effort. They didn't have to get me here. So really, it was just a matter of this was the slot I fit into, and I took it, and I've loved it. Love it here. I love it. Ag, FFA, the crew. It's been an awesome experience so far, and we're just getting started. So that's it. It was just what was available.
We press.
So, just to change the subject again, can you talk to us a little bit? Because here at Mount Empire, we had some serious situations going on where there was threats at our school. I just want to hear a little bit from what you have to say about it. Did it affect you in any kind of way? How do you feel? And is there anything that you want to say personally to the students?
Yeah, it before we knew that it was high likelihood that it was a hoax, just false, fake news. Um, yeah, we were a little scared. I'm obviously scared for myself, but I'm terrified for you guys. This is a world that, like you mentioned, maybe siblings, junior high, like junior high kids grew up in the world where these threats have been actuated. They've This is a national crisis, the things that happen. um, and these kids are growing up with that, and I'm aside from just the physical violence aspect, I'm scared of how calloused, how kind of used to that we're getting. um, to me, it's this has been like a weird gradual process where when I went here, it just wasn't an option. It wasn't a thing that happened. Maybe a couple instances of that type of violence happened, but it was nothing that we were ever afraid of. Now, the word lockdown is in your vocabulary. There's buckets full of emergency equipment. Some in most classes there should be. It's just a whole different ball game. And that I think that just that idea is what kind of scares me is you guys are used to it. We see this stuff in the news and it's like, oh, another one. It's like another tornado. Um, when like that's just not the world I grew up in. It's still like I'm still kind of stuck in that mindset, like where this is the world I'm from and I'm currently living in this other world and teaching in this other world. Like I haven't had that connection yet. You guys are living it. So I think I'm concerned with what that might be doing to folks, students. It's rough. I don't know how you guys get through it, honestly. Um, so I just want to be kind of an instrument of support and safety. Just be here for you guys. Keep this place secure. Um, Again, I'm a huge advocate of the Say Something app. But I also hope we push more, and I think we did this since we last talked pretty well. Push more to like get students to the point where they understand that, hey, yeah, it's a tool that you could use for mischief or criminal activity to do false hoax. You could do that, or it's a tool that can keep our mountain, keep our people safe here, and that's what we need to push more for. uh, Otherwise, I just want folks to know we're here to protect you in any way we can. um, yeah.
Mr. Brennan?
So as you were saying, you feel it kind of feels surreal that you went to school here. Now that now you're teaching here, and you feel like you're living in a whole different world sometimes. How would you say that life has moved pretty fast for you? Time just flies by.
Yeah, that's something you guys, if you haven't heard, you will hear a bunch. As young folks, is oh yeah, wait, just wait, and life's gonna start going by. And sure enough, like my the 4 years of high school, like I remember those as taking 10 years. Like they were just super long. Like that was just a long experience of my life. But since I've graduated, like blocks of 4 years just go by like that, just super quick. And I don't know. There's probably some physiological reason for that, but yeah, life's gone by quick, and I think to good thing to build into is enjoy everything, even the crappy parts. Those are good learning experiences. Don't dwell on them. Use those negative experiences to build yourself into something stronger, something better. um, but enjoy the small moments, the little smiles, the flowers. It sounds cheesy, but take a look at the stars sometimes. We got beautiful stars out here that you don't get in town. Take an hour a month and just look. Take that time. You won't regret it. Otherwise, just gonna harp on the make your environment better, and then your environment will work for you. Um, that's what we need to do more of. Considering that your life is gonna speed up quickly. Take the time to do all these things um, to work through the negative, to appreciate the positive as hard and as often as you can, and to kind of work together to make this world better, this mountain better, and then extend that into the world. I don't know. I'm probably sounding cheesy, but I got your time. So
Yeah, I could definitely say, and I think Louis could also say that high school career, as my high school career has moved pretty fast. Being a senior, being a senior now, you kind of look back and you're like, wow, I thought high school was gonna last forever, but like it doesn't, and it moved by pretty fast. And I'm gonna ask a question after I give it to Louis Perez real quick.
Yeah, no, I just want to touch a little bit on that because it's like JJ read my mind. We had a couple students on our podcast not too long ago who are seniors. Two of them are seniors, and one of them, I believe, is a junior or a freshman. And we all said that for a long time we heard growing up, time's gonna go by fast. Time's gonna go by fast. Well, now that we're at seniors, we look and we're like, shoot, our senior year or our high school career and high school itself just went by quick. It just all went by like that. And I just found it a little funny that you said for you it seemed like it went by forever. It took forever, but for us it seems like it just went by like that. And I yeah, it's just yeah, Mr. Brennan.
I believe Mr. Cook said he thought it was gonna feel like 10 years, but it actually now that he graduated, felt like nothing. But like, I usually ask this to high school students, but I'll make an exception because but if you could retake your high school career and restart it over freshman year, do you think you would do something differently?
yeah, absolutely. And hopefully this is a tale of warning a little bit. So from almost junior high, my full on intent was to go straight in the military. And I knew all I had to do was pass this thing called the ASVAB. So knowing that, freshman year through senior year, I just knew how to get C's. Um, that's all. And basically, um, basically, I didn't try for the majority of my career in high school. I was pretty good about passing tests. Like I think I hopefully knew, like I was, learning. But I just was kind of lazy, not doing homework. Um, and that negatively impacted my ability to apply for colleges when I decided, hey, military's not right for me right now. I actually want to go to college first. Um, that was kind of a shorter story than I meant, but yeah, that's the number one thing is I had a lot of time on my hands, and a lot of energy, a lot of effort, and I wish I would have put more into that. Um, on top of that, kind of recognizing, because you're, I mean, freshmen, they're not thinking about, for the most part, community and those kind of bigger aspects of life. But I wish I would have been a little more in tune with that. Like, I think there's that. I don't know if you probably heard the phrase or the maybe the feeling of like, hey, your number one goal is to get off the mountain, right? Yeah, this is like it's like as if the mountain is a negative spot and our goal is to get down it, to get away from it. I hope our community, and I would have wished this of myself, is we can get away from that and say, yeah, if you're going off the mountain, do good things, and that's awesome. That's not bad. Um, but if you're here, or if you're going to come back, make this place better. While we're here, that's our job. Make this place better. Always small stuff, but just keep doing that. And that's the interactions between us. That's some even bigger theme. Let's say you go out and get a business degree. Start thinking about what businesses would do well out here and what would do well for our the folks out here. Stuff like that. Maybe you want to become an awesome teacher, an awesome teacher more awesome than me, and try to make this place better. Things like that. I think we, as a community, need to start having that, like, almost communal mindset, um, or at the very least get away from that idea. Like, hey, your goal is to get off the mountain. If you're going to college, yeah, you need to get off the mountain because there's no colleges out here. Sure, that makes sense. But I think the emotional, like, negativity aspect, we need to get rid of that. What do you guys think?
I totally agree with the getting off the mountain. Like it's not, it's not a very positive thing to say at all. Especially because like you grew up here, so like, why would you want to leave the place you grew up in and like badmouth the place you grew up in? Like, especially if you like you said, if you go to college, do something really good, get a good degree, like, and you come back, what can you do for your community to make it not let's get off this mountain, let's go to this mountain instead, like make this place better.
Yeah, I hear, especially in my family all the time, and you have to get off this mountain, you have to get off, because they've all grew up here. And I never really looked at it, how you said how, we have to make it better. You know, I've, yeah, there's in my head, I look at Campo and I say, yeah, this is a really nice place, and I wish we had this. And maybe if we had this, it'd bring more people and I wish people could see it. But I've never really thought about, what can I do to make it better? And now that you distill that in my head, it's brought up some, like a new way of looking at things. So yeah, no, that's yeah, it's it's just hard to explain a little bit. It's yeah, yeah, yes sir, it did. It hit me a little bit. Yeah, I'm just yeah. What can we do, to make Campo better? No, that's certainly, I think now we we might use this as a podcast question now. What can you do for you community to make it better? And so yes, sir. I like yeah, Mr. Brennan.
um, I don't have too much right now.
Cool. Word.
um, yeah.
Just to build on it is like, because think about it, no one else is gonna do it. No, I mean, some random rich person from El Cajon might come out and make a cool, make our community better. That might happen, but I think it's really up to us, to make stuff better here, to us as a community, and that comes down to it's like, it's my responsibility. It's kind of that sense of extreme ownership. Like, I own, like, it sounds weird, but I own um, this community's health. I guess, like, that's up to me to fix, and it's up to you to fix. It's up to you to fix. It's up to all of us to fix individually, um, and together. So, again, a little cheesy, but hopefully it worked.
Uh, Real quick, no, I don't think it was cheesy at all. Yeah, it just like I've never really been at a loss for words, at in certain times. But when you said that, it really opened my mind to like, yeah, what can we do? So, Mr. Brennan.
Yeah, definitely. What can we do to help our community, especially because we get that sense of responsibility because we all grew up here. It's like nobody else grew up here. We don't want someone from. We do. We always want the community to get better, but like it wouldn't feel as right if you know someone from like, I don't know, downtown came up here and like try to make things better, I mean that would help, yeah. But like it would be even better if one student from Mountain Empire went down the mountain, came back up, and like brought businesses, restaurants, brought all these things to the mountain, which would benefit our community a lot up here.
Yeah, certainly. So let me just ask you, Mr. Cook, what do you think, in your opinion, what do you think we could put or we could like bring to Campo to make it a more, a more visited place, a more, place that people want to go and, visit?
I mean, talking Campo specifically, like I grew up on Lake Myrna. I think part of that is just advertising the stuff we already have. I mean, talk about the train museum. I don't see any advertisements for that. You've been on it before though? You got to go on it. It's awesome. It's a crazy, awesome experience. That museum is awesome. Campo Train Museum. So I would say a lot of that's just advertising, stuff like that. Other than that, it kind of gets into a conversation, probably one we could talk about in a whole book. But you have to have that kind of balance where we don't want. I personally don't want an overdevelopment. Like I don't want a massive mall structure to take over some of our open space. I want to kind of retain what we have at a certain point. Um, so I think it's maybe focusing on what the beauty we already have and making that even better. A lot of great hiking spots. There's a lot of great communities, a lot of history here that we don't even know ourselves half the time. There's the Gasco brothers. Exactly, that's what I was gonna bring out. I don't even know the full story. Because I learned it one time and I forgot it, but that's uh, that's something we kind of not underappreciate, but we don't talk about it. We don't market it as much. Uh, I don't know. That's kind of my thought on it. What do you guys think? I kind of said like I don't want too much development coming in, but maybe we do. It's a community question, really. That's just kind of my take on it.
Yeah, I definitely understand and agree with what you said. Like we don't want malls and like all these, or it wouldn't be very fun to have like these big malls, these big like big corporate companies coming out here and like building big things, like because we have like we have nature, a lot of nature up here, beautiful skies, and tons of wildlife that you don't see down in town. I bet some kids down in town, they get excited when they see like a bird in the sky. When we see like turkeys on our field all the time. So it's like we don't want to ruin that. We don't want to ruin our air quality either. Down in town, it's not the best air quality, pollution, all that. So yeah, we have to find a way to like balance everything. So like not only will make people want to come up here, but like at the same time we want to keep it the same, like clean, nature. We want all that.
Yeah, I think like advertising the history part is one of the things that we could emphasize a lot more too, because like you said, there is a lot of history here or in Campo alone that not a lot of people know about. Like we had the Buffalo Soldiers, and we still have the prison camp up for the POWs. I found stuff with my dad out in the area where the Buffalo Soldiers had trained. Small little pieces of metal and shrapnel and just stuff like that. And yeah, it's a really interesting when you do dig deep into it. And I feel like more people should know about that because the Buffalo Soldiers, that's a big part of history, especially African American history, and not a whole lot of people know that Campo was a big spot for them, and the train museum, yeah, with that too. I'm not really sure the whole significance on that, but I've seen old photos of it going down to New Mexico or Mexico across the border, I believe, or something like that. But yeah, the Gasco brothers as well. That was a very interesting story. The banditos that they shot, and supposedly they buried them right there on the property. But yeah, and they still have the hanging tree up as well, where they had. So it's Campo is very, very full of history, and I believe yes that we need to advertise that a bit more. And as far as the trails and stuff, because we have the Pacific Crest Trail that runs all the way through, and that goes from California to Canada, I believe, or something like that. So yeah, we have very, very beautiful spots. Some spots, people don't know about and they're just breathtaking. So yeah, I believe Campo has a lot to offer and we should advertise it more, get it out there more. because it's a nice spot for people to come and just experience, even if it's just one time.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Cause like it's easy to say let's get off this mountain, but it's like it takes a heart to like want to change this mountain. So yeah, I definitely agree.
No, I got nothing. Just kind of regurgitating what we just said. I mean, there's tons of beauty out here. Lake Marina gets a lot of crap, but it's beautiful. I mean, take a kayak out there. We got a last I checked and last I was out there, we got a bald eagle nest. Not a lot of people know that. Bird watchers, come on out. Um, yeah, that's really all I have to say on that for sure.
One thing real quick I want to say is, from every like old timer that I talked to that's been up here in Campo, when they've left Campo, they say, "Oh yeah, I left and I made my life." But after they went and made their life, they always say that they came back. Why is it you think that they always come back?
I mean, that's where you get into, you know, um, I don't know, is it psychology or is it just the magic of the mountain? I don't know. I think it's just coming home, going into like kind of a literary kind of your English class. That's kind of um, the term is a hero's journey. They they always start off in one location, their home. They go off on an adventure. They develop these skills, get these powers, and they always come home and make that place better. I think that we tell those stories. We've told those stories forever because it's almost the ideal. Um, no one should be staying home and just kind of stagnating or staying the same. You do need to go explore, make yourself stronger, more, uh, I guess, useful from like a job perspective. And then, but the idea is, I think we as humans like think that's the ideal. Is you come back, make your community better. And I don't know if we've gotten away from that as a world or not. But it's something I want to see us do more, at least on the mountain. Um, yeah, that's kind of it.
Mr. Brennan, is there any more you would like to add?
I don't have much.
Alrighty. I suppose then we could go ahead and end this podcast. This was a pretty good one. We're at 32 minutes here. Mr. Cook, real quick, would you like to ask me and Mr. Brennan any questions? Because this is the time for you to ask.
Yeah, I guess maybe let's say I'd asked you before, what do you guys want to do when you get out of high school? And then maybe, like, let's say I asked you that before. Now that we've had this discussion on how you can make the community better, has that changed, or are you thinking about that differently? So I guess the question is, what do you want to do after high school, given everything we've talked about?
Okay, so it's funny that you said the things that you said, and I was so blown away by it. Is because here lately I've been having something like really dawn over me, and I'm gonna share it with you guys. You're the first to hear this, okay? And then this is gonna be on the podcast, obviously. But something has been like telling me that I need to do something. I need to make like my voice heard in a certain way. And I feel like with this podcast, it's a good way for both me and Brennan because, Mr. Brennan, he has very great ideas himself. And I have a feeling that this podcast gives us both a platform to do that. But with what you said there, and after you said, what can I do for my community? It hit me hard because something's been dawning over me that I need to do something to help the people, to help my people. And I look at my community of Campo. I look at everybody there as my people. These are my people, and I need to help out my people. And it's funny that you said that. Like I said, when you said that, it hit me so hard because it was like, I was just I've been thinking about this stuff for months and months, but I didn't know exactly what it was until you said it, and then it all clicked like that. Mr. Brennan.
Well, I'd love to help my community. I would want to help my community a lot. You know, I really just want to like pursue my passions. Like, I have a DEA. I want to do that, but first I want to do like my MMA fighting, and if that doesn't work out, then DEA, because like I want to pursue my passions. And I was gonna ask you this before we cut off last time, but do you feel like the school pushes students to pursue their passions, or do you think they, well, because I know they're kind of like legally obligated to tell them to, get ready for college, get ready for all this, but like, how do you feel that, um, do you think students should be pushing for their passions more?
Yeah, I think it's something we all need to do more of. Like I'll say that. The school was trying, like documented. We're trying. The organization is trying, um, but I think we always need to push that harder. And I think it starts off with recognizing your passions, and just digging into there's there's no one model for success. Success is not the car you drive. It's not the clothes you wear. It's not where you live. It's something inside you. It's awesome to make $1 million a month. I would take it. But we need to define what success is more. And sometimes it is going to be an individual thing. Success to me is going to be different to you. Um, to me, I'm where I want to be. Like I've succeeded. I'm not making all the money. I'm living in an apartment, not living in a mansion, but I'm happy. I'm helping folks. I'm where I want to be. My situation is perfect. I don't need anything more. So to me, that's my success. And I think we need to start off with there. What's your success? Once you do that, then we can start building towards it. It's as simple as making a plan. This is where I want to be. This is where I'm at. What's the first step towards that? Maybe it might be getting a job. It might be going to college. It might be going to trade school. Um, Whatever it is, um, and just going step by step, getting to that your idea of success. But to really, really understand, that success is different for each person. There's a lot of external pressures telling us what success is. A lot of YouTubers and things like that, and I disagree with that idea that it's just about making the cheddar. It's not. Um, that's me.
Yeah, I could definitely say it's moral success. Like, what do you feel you have done? Like, even if you do believe that it's your money that makes you successful, then that's what makes you successful. Good for you. Not everyone shoots for the money. Personally, I just want to become I just want to become, someone that I want to become, not popular, but I want to be known for something. That's what I want to be. That's what defines my success.
No, it's funny again. Mr. Brennan seems like he's reading my mind again. I want to be known for something as well. I just I'm not sure. Like in my opinion, the way I look at success, like you guys said, I don't look at the money. Well, like you said, because I could care less about the money. I've made money, I make money, and I use it, and it is what it is. But the way I consider myself, like successful is in the relationships that I make with people. The people that I find. That's when I know I'm successful, because if I meet really cool people and really good people that I know, I can help them and they can help me, then I know, okay, I made it, I succeeded. As of right now, as of my high school experience, I can say 1000% I've succeeded in high school, just because I met really cool people. I met new teachers like you've opened my mind to new things. I met some other people, and so as of right now, I believe that this is a very successful time in which I am in personally. Is there any more you would like to say, Mr. Cook?
Just while we're here, try to make it better. That's it. Try to try to make things better.
Mr. Brennan?
Um, I think we've said everything we can say. I'd like to thank Mr. Cook for giving us his time today for taking part in this podcast.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Cook. We are so glad that we had the time to able to catch up with you again, and I feel like this episode was a whole lot better than last time because we didn't have the interruption, and we were able to get a lot more from you. So I can say this was probably one of the most successful ones we've had. So thank you very much, and you have a good day, and we'll catch up to you later. Yes, sir. Thank you.